Hey everyone, we are so excited. This is our second edition of Wake Up Southern Oregon, and we are just super excited. We have so much to cover today, and not the least of which is the school board meetings that have been happening this week. I think the first one was a week ago today or on Thursday at the Phoenix Talent School Board meeting. Yes. So how was that, you guys?
Yeah. It was awesome. I think it was more awesome than we thought it would be. I mean, we knew people were going to come out. We did a call to action on here last week, encouraging moms and families and teachers to come out, and people came. There were hundreds of people there. The testimonies, the vibe was amazing, and I think people left really super inspired, and that's what we're shooting for. And we continue to promote and show up to some other board meetings the last couple days, and those went well too.
Yeah. And I think what's really cool about this specific board meeting is it wasn't supposed to be a bunch of parents sitting in on the board meeting. It was supposed to be a meetup, but then we got invited inside by the school board members, which was really cool. So what was supposed to be a meetup outside of the meeting ended up us being able to sit in, to listen, and to also make our voices heard. So I got to give a shout out to Phoenix for doing that, because not every district is doing that, but that was really gracious of them, and it was so much bigger and better than we ever could have imagined.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I left super inspired. I was really proud of Southern Oregon, and I left really happy and just really empowered. And then what I thought was really cool is obviously we were getting a lot of nasty comments from a mayor out there.
A little.
And real bad. And you know, what hit me is she had like 2 weeks to get anyone to come speak that was for the mask. And we had 20 speakers, I believe, and no one spoke for the mask. Yep. We had great speakers that spoke against it, and in just a really righteous, direct way. We were so polite to a lady that did show up masked that she commented on that. And the last thing I got from that was, I remember one of the school board members saying, man, this is a huge group. We normally only have like 3 people at our meetings. And so I was telling a friend that if anything that comes out of this, it's that parents are going to start showing up because you want to know now what curriculum they're teaching. We've all been sitting out for way too long. We all don't have schools in the system, but we've all chosen alternative stuff for our kids a while ago. But, it made me think, these parents are going to show up now to find out what they're teaching, what they're posting in the classrooms. Are they teaching their agenda or what they want to be taught? So out of all this, the good that can come is that people are getting involved, and we're just going to keep standing up.
And we have several more meetings, school board meetings throughout the valley that we are promoting. So as we continue to promote those, you guys have to show up. I know Eagle Point's coming up. We have Grants Pass coming up, and we all have to show up. And we had people coming all around the valley out here to Phoenix, helping and showing up and being a voice with us. So I encourage everybody to be a part of all of these. And we have these organized and ready to promote.
I think we had a carload that came from Butte Falls.
Yes, the Butte Falls
that made sure that we knew
awesome.
that, and that they wanted us to come support them. So even us, I have a friend say, you don't even have kids in the public school system. And I said, and we talked about that as a group, but we feel like we've got little nephews, nieces, friends, kids. We love all each other's kids.
This is our community.
Yeah.
That's why we do what we are doing together.
We need to show that we're the majority because we are.
Yep. So. And keep showing up. And one of the speakers at the Central Point meeting, I think
you were at.
I was at. Yeah. It was amazing. It could have been better, but it was full. It was definitely full of parents. And again, I don't think they've ever seen that many people at a school board meeting. So, but he stood up and he basically said, and this isn't verbatim, but he just said, we will be back. If you do not, and he was saying it in a very non-threatening way, very respectful, but he just said, we're done as parents. We are done with you trying to parent our children, and we are going to come back every time and continue to fight this fight for our kids, because that's our job as parents.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
Mm-hmm. So, and obviously another thing that we're really facing right now is this vaccine mandate, and that many businesses and corporations are trying to implement, none of the least of which is the healthcare workers, and we are hearing from them by the masses. Some major stories going on there. So
I'm going to give a couple testimonies here, but this is all leading up to promote a big event that's going to be happening on the 25th. It is specifically just to show support to healthcare workers around the valley that have just been recently just told recently that they have to receive the vaccine, or they have to be tested weekly and also undergo weekly COVID vaccine training, something like that, if they don't receive the vaccine. So a lot of healthcare workers right now are stressing out. They're anxious about the future. And so on the 25th, we're going to be having a meetup. We're going to come out with a flyer and give a little bit more details on that. It's a meetup outside of Asante. It's going to be on Barnett Road. It's for medical freedom, to show that we stand beside these healthcare workers. We stand for them. We stand with them. But it is not just going to be for healthcare workers. We want everybody coming out. If you live in Oregon and you are able to make it, we want to make this so big that we fill the streets of Barnett. You guys, we want to block off traffic for this. So it's the 25th. It's at 6:30. We are going to have a flyer with all the details coming out. We want to make this huge. But you guys need to know what's happening. And so we want to, this is stuff that they don't cover on the news, okay? I know that there's a lot of propaganda and
we're
fear
here, right? We're the
being
news
pushed in the media right
Your
now.
shirt.
So Cass and I, we want to read some inside testimonies of some healthcare workers that are inside our in the thick of this right now. And there's a lot of fear mongering as far as COVID cases rising and people are dying. And I've had people reach out to me, literally say, I'm so scared of this Delta variant. Should I get the vaccine? What should I do? I'm so scared. It's because of what they're seeing on the news. So we got to call out this propaganda, and we need to expose the truth of what's really happening here. Now, I'm going to read a couple of testimonies. These are inside healthcare workers as far as the numbers go, okay? And our hospital's getting overrun. There's no more beds left. So number
that's
one,
the headline in the news right now.
yeah,
right?
that's the headline. Is that what are we supposed
Yes.
to do? So
Yep.
here's the thing. And this is a quote from an insider who has given me permission to share this. We have a pandemic of misusing the hospital. We have staffing issues. Fun fact, 9 out of 10 times the hospital term for out of beds is due to being short-staffed. It does not necessarily mean that every bed in the hospital is occupied. More commonly, the term is used to describe the RN to patient ratio, aka there are only enough RNs to care for this many patients. This is nothing new, and sometimes changes hour by hour. If you think staffing is an issue now, just wait until the new get the thing or get fired mandate kicks in, okay? Second testimony, guys, we could go on all day. I'm just going to give you a couple. Cassidy's going to give one, and we're probably going to do a lot more exposing in our group about this. But second one, this is, for example, just like last night, it's a misuse of the ER too. A lot of factors. Staffing isn't helping. But for example, on Monday, Asante had 101 patients in the ER, like 60 waiting or in the waiting room. One person came in, needed a pregnancy test, or one girl came in and she needed an earring taken out that could have waited. Yeah. If we can educate people out there saying, hey, our healthcare system wants to take care of you, but when you're coming in for like a pregnancy test, us checking you in, then you sitting in our waiting room creates delay for someone who really needs it. Yes, COVID is a struggle for people, and is a struggle for people and all. And if we didn't have people creating waiting issues, we could help these people that actually need this help. So you go with yours.
Yeah, and so, because we're seeing these in the headline, Mail Tribune, their headline, hospitals overrun, COVID overtaking the hospital. I mean, I don't have it sitting here. You guys go look up that article. And this has made people scared. They're putting on their masks. They're supporting the vaccine mandates. So we want to get to the bottom of it. Is it the truth? So nurses, people who work at the hospital who are scared for their jobs because they're picky about how they're supposed to behave on social media, which a lot of people have told us that, but they're posting and they're sending us messages. So this was directly in reference to that article. This person who works there says, they make it sound as if this is something new. We have been at max capacity multiple times a month for the last 10 years. That's why they are building more units. Next person responding, nurse. Yeah, right. And it also doesn't help that they are driving away employees to force a non-FDA approved vaccine. So, I mean, these are people chiming in saying, wait, we work here. It's a crazy job to be a nurse. Why are we panicking now? Why weren't people helping us? Or not just a nurse, just working in the hospital in general. So another thing that's very fishy about these articles and about this propaganda is the CDC just recently came out and said that there's no way to determine if the PCR test, it can't identify if the sample is COVID versus the flu.
It's a sickness test.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
It's a sickness test. Yeah. So that's that. And there is not a test for the Delta variant. So there's no way you can claim that the hospital's being overflown or
Overflowed.
flowed, yes, with COVID patients, specifically Delta variant patients. And that's the terminology they're using. And
they don't report this kind of stuff on the news. They just don't.
Yeah.
So everyone is watching the news and they're just believing whatever is fed to them. We need an outlet. This is why we have Southern Oregon First, to be able to report, hey, this is what's really going on inside. So,
and it's not just it's not just hospital or healthcare workers. It's the VA. It's the state police. It's local police departments, firemen.
Yep.
It's local businesses that are trying to mandate this.
Yeah, my phone's been
teachers are
blowing
next.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, my phone's been blowing up because the VA is obviously close to my heart, but they received letters saying, and now it's only 6 weeks left. 6 weeks to get the jab, or you're done, or you have all these other restrictions. And then a lot of state troopers were calling me yesterday because they found out they have to supposedly get it. So we do have a amazing paralegal that's been working with us for this whole time. She remains anonymous, but it's all been free help, and we'll work with Southern Oregon First to get all this posted. We do have awesome religious exemption links, so we can get that out there, and they're all divided, whether you're a college student, a state trooper, a federal nurse, and you could fill those out and get those to your employer. If you can find a doctor, we're working on that hard to do medical exemptions. She's just saying, get everything you can in your power. If this is your conviction, we're not putting our convictions on other people, but I could literally do studying for about an hour and make the decision for myself. If we were reporting daily every death toll, then you're going to be afraid. So that it's just a fear mongering time. And I think instead we should faith monger. So I am getting all these calls. We do have resources for you guys. It's just hard to get out. So we'll get that up on Southern Oregon First. But we all need to stand. And this is what we're saying. This is the time that every resident needs to stand. It doesn't matter. Like a few weeks ago, it wasn't my husband's job, but now this week it is. But we were still not okay that it was other people at his facilities' jobs on the chopping block. So don't just wait until it's your turn.
Right. Don't wait till it affects you.
No, we really feel like as a group, and we've been working on this over a year, this is the pivotal time. If we do not stand, we're really surrendering. And once they get all these things in place, it's going to be really hard to go the other direction. So we're at a time to stand boldly and for each other.
Well, it's not just it's patients are next. They're going to start refusing health care to people unless they're vaccinated.
Yeah, we've heard that.
That's where this is leading, folks.
I just think the main thing that we want to do not comply. It's so important that you take the steps to say no. Masks don't work. That's my statement today. But it's ridiculous that you cannot complain, and I've said this, I think this will be my third time, and we'll be talking to Annie Stack in just a few minutes, and I think she'll reiterate this, but you cannot complain, and you cannot be nervous or worried or whatever if you're not doing anything. It is not hard to take a stand. If simply taking a stand is not wearing a mask, if simply taking a stand is filling out an exemption form or passing that information along or whatever it may be, sending information through social media, doing what you can, sending letters. We have an incredible letter campaign on Southern Oregon First that is amazing, and we've had
it's easy.
It takes 2 minutes. Not even.
I
don't even think it
Just
takes 2 minutes. So do something. Don't complain and do nothing. It's so important.
And here's the thing: is they're rising up. People that have been scared to expose themselves in fear of losing their jobs, they are forming alliances. They are getting together. They are making a plan.
By the masses.
We know a group of Asante workers that are creating their own group, and they're uniting. And they are making a plan. So the pushback is coming.
No, you're not alone.
You're not alone. The pushback is coming, and we've got to rally for the 25th.
We absolutely
this has to be the biggest thing that Oregon has ever seen. And that's why we want to start promoting this now. And like April has said, and everyone is reiterating, if you don't come, you have no reason to complain.
Yeah, silence is consent.
And on that call to action note, we have the Maskless Women of Southern Oregon page.
Yes.
So we are back to maskless meetups. Okay,
Weekly.
It's on
Because
we will
what?
Be doing
Friday.
Because
Friday.
tomorrow, masks mandated inside all over Oregon. And we're hearing a lot of buzz. We've been out talking to businesses. Some are going to comply, some are not going to comply. But we want to be able to perform basic duties like get groceries for our families, get health care, live our life without masks, because no one's ever provided us any data that they do anything. So we're going to do that. That calendar will be
We're going to be
available as
doing
well.
that every week. Yeah. So
Yep.
that's
I know, I love it.
that's gonna be-
Peacefully
Yeah.
grocery shopping without a mask.
And we are
Peacefully.
always
Yes.
peaceful and respectful.
Yes.
We're
Yes,
always
always.
peaceful and
Yes.
respectful.
Yes.
We're not looking to get arrested.
No,
I'm
We're
willing,
not.
though.
We're really not. I mean, but if we, well, I'm not going to go there. So.
No, we definitely.
I mean, she's willing
No.
to, but
Maybe,
yes.
well, at this point, I think you guys, people are willing to get arrested. That's how fed up people are with this. I mean,
Yes.
we have firefighters and police officers, and we have healthcare offices that are ready to make a stand publicly.
Lots of
that
teachers.
They are planning on coming out and showing publicly and showing the people, regardless of the risk to their jobs, that they will not stand for this and that we stand together.
And so the 25th is going to be an incredible opportunity, no matter if you're in healthcare or what job you have. We want everyone out there. We want our entire Southern Oregon community to come and support and stand for our community and stand for our first responders and for our teachers and for anyone who's being forced to vaccinate against their will.
Yeah, it's for medical freedom, and details are going to follow in a flyer that hopefully we'll be getting this weekend
ASAP.
that we can get on social media and also to physically hand out to people. We do,
And we
plan
want you
on
to
going-
share
Yes.
it and leave comments on Southern Oregon First, and we would love to interact with you.